A pleasure to meet all at last, and we are at it once again with more HJN topics. However, 3 episodes, that's all I plan to do here. And well, in this case, what I got is number 2660, which I feel like is a pretty big number in and of itself. But the subject in question is going to be biology. Well, as you probably know by now, biology is known as the study of life and organic matter, especially on Earth. It can correlate to certain living organisms, including plants, animals, people, etc. And they also study on the many interactions with the environment around it. For example, one could study about how the current ecology of whales may be considered endangered because of the fact that others had unfortunately not done such a good job in life. And the fact is that because of certain human intervention, that would explain why the whales had not quite done so well over the years and are practically at the point in which that extinction may be inevitable for them in the future. But on the other hand, we could probably talk about some of the more recent developments that have taken place. Yeah, if you guys are familiar with a certain Texas institution, they were actually able to successfully rebirth the direwolf. Yeah, somehow in some way they were able to get DNA of that of the direwolf by simply modifying certain genomes and chromosomes. So that way, when put together, it manifests into a fresh new breed of direwolves. While they might not be like their own original ancestors, it seems though that the possibility of this certain genetic modification and whatnot might actually allow for us to bring back a certain amount of different prehistoric animals. Not just with the direwolf, but there was also talks about 2028's woolly mammoth project. And that alone is quite the news to have. But the thing is that biology in its current sense, we don't quite know how these new direwolves are going to be interacting with their environment and if they should fall into the wrong hands. Which hopefully that doesn't happen. Same thing could go with the soon-to-be woolly mammoths. But the thing is, though, is that with biology, you could study whatever organism you may possibly want. It doesn't even have to be alive. It could be an extinct species for all we know. There could probably be all the studies going around on the so-called megalania sightings. And the thing is that while scientists have already been able to put together how the megalania was first discovered and described, as well as all the basic info, including its length, height, width, as well as its weight, or mass, so to speak. The megalania, of course, is just another one of those cases where it's quite mysterious. Some might think of it as still around because some scientific data has shown that while it was said to be extinct thousands of years ago, there was some data published years ago that talked about supposed witnesses of the megalania in sight. A very giant Komodo dragon-looking lizard. And on top of all that, there was carbon dating found to be around 300 years old. Compared to thousands of years that the megalania had been extinct for, it really does raise a lot of questions in that particular concept. But the thing is that biology is more or less derived from how current animal kingdom studies are put together, rather than something like archaeology or paleontology, which are entirely different subjects, which I could probably deal with later on in the series. But hey, biology or not, there's all sorts of animals that we can talk about, whether alive or dead, extinct or still around, mysterious or discovered. There's always the hints of possibilities. And there's definitely lots to look forward to in the field of science. So, with all that in mind, that's just all I have to offer for today's piece. With 2 more episodes to go, though, I certainly have gotten the routine picked together. Yeah. That's probably a good setup for tomorrow's episode, but stick around because that will be coming around soon.